overwhelmed right now. I don't even think that we are processing it. It's just happened so quick. We're just going through a lot of different emotions.
And he just kept telling me, this isn't a joke, this isn't a joke.
And to find out he's just living his life. Ugh.
Sleep better tonight. He isn't coming through the window. He's now in jail, and he's history.
Those are some of the victims and the families of the victim members of the Golden State Killer, who is believed to have killed at least 12 people and raped 45 people more than decades ago. An unbelievable story. Alex Stone is in California with the story. Good morning, Alex.
Good morning, McGraw. Yeah, this is a case that haunted people back in the 70s and 80s. Everybody knew there was at least one serial killer out there, but they thought there were actually more. It was until the 90s that they were able to take the DNA and put all of these cases under one umbrella of one killer. But he was known, depending on where you were in California, as the Golden State Killer, as the East Area Rapist, as the original Night Stalker. There were a few other names that he was given. And then all of a sudden in the 90s, they said this is the same guy. But this is a case that in the late 70s, the early 80s, he was the true boogeyman. He would break into your home. He would usually tie up the man in the home, make the man lay down on his stomach. He would put dishes on his back and tell him, if I hear these dishes rattle at all, I'm going to come in here and kill you, which he would do. And then as the man of the house listened, he would assault the woman and then kill both of them or let them go, and then terrorize them afterwards if he allowed them to live, and continue to call them and say he was coming back. In fact, police were able to record one of the phone calls when he called one of the victims, and this is that phone call. And he'd repeatedly call them and tell them that you're going to hear footsteps in the night. I'm coming back through your window. I'm going to finish you off. He would terrorize these people for many, many years after he had stopped doing his attack.
Why now? How did they catch him?
Well, it all came down to DNA, and even though there was a best-selling book that came out about 6 months ago and a number of documentaries and podcasts and other things, they say that, except for keeping it in the spotlight, which was good, that those things really didn't lead to this. This was years of investigative work of tracking down leads, going through people who were not, ended up being not involved, but who they thought might have been suspects. And then about 6 days ago, they got to a point where they could get a piece of his DNA, and they thought they were there. So they got what they call discarded DNA. They won't say exactly what it was, but likely a drink container that he threw in the garbage or spit on the sidewalk or something, licked an envelope. And then they retrieved that and did the test, and they got a 100% match. But they're telling us that the DNA technology that they used in the last 6 days was to match it to crimes from the 1970s was technology that did not exist 5 years ago, that this is only because of new technology in the last couple of years that they now were able to make this match 100% match.
And this demon turns out to be a former police officer?
Yeah, former police officer in 2 California cities. He was fired from the force in 1979 for stealing a hammer and dog repellent from a convenience store. Now they want to know, did he use those items in any of his killings or any of his rapes? But he was fired from the Auburn, California Police Department for that shoplifting in 79. So during part of this, from 1974 to 79, he was an active police officer, and then not so from 79 to 86. He ended up going on having a long career with a grocery store chain. But his neighbors say this was just the old guy on the street who was grumpy, had a temper. And his coworkers say, no, he was just a regular dude we worked with at the grocery store company. But, like we always hear, they say they had no clue.
Was there an altercation when they captured him? What happened there?
Well, it went down a little like this. This is the lead detective talking to our local affiliate in Sacramento.
They just took a hold of his arms and placed handcuffs on him. He protested mildly. But then the comment that he made was he had a roast in the oven. And I said, we'll take care of that.
Yeah, they say that he had a brief moment where it looked like in his eyes he was thinking about executing some kind of escape plan he had come up with, but maybe that was 30 years ago when he came up with the plan. That at 72 years old, he's an older man now, and there was no way he knew at that moment that he was going to outrun the cops, and they put the handcuffs on him.
Chilling stuff. Alex Stone, ABC News correspondent in California, covering the story. Alex, thanks.
You got it. Thanks for coming.
All right. How about that audio?
I know. That was just chilling. Hey, this just in, Ronnie Johnson.